Reforms being proposed to Grenada's constitution for the first time since independence in 1974 would not promote same-sex marriage. This is the view being promoted by the C.R.A.C, leading attorneys, the Grenada Conference of Churches, and even GrenChap, an organization which advocates for the country's lesbian and gay community. In fact, the Keith Mitchell administration has made it clear no same-sex marriage in Grenada.
And whether this is a man and a woman's right to equal pay for equal work, whether it's a woman's right to equal job opportunities, the right to equal opportunities in education. That was the intent of this addition to the bill. It does not speak to same-sex marriage. This administration does not support same-sex marriage, and it is not the intention to weaken any provisions within the existing constitution with regard to this.
While the government's message is clear and the country's marriage laws speak only of a union between a man and a woman, the Alliance of Evangelical Churches Inc. Grenada has been waging a campaign against the rights bill, one of 7 the country will vote for on November 24, Referendum Day. The other are the Caribbean Court of Justice and Other Justice, Elections and Boundaries Commission, ensuring appointment of leader of the opposition, fixed date for elections, name of state and term of office of Prime Minister. But a decision which started in 1985 has come alive, largely on account of a section within the Bill of Rights addressing the issue of gender equality. The LGBTI community, which includes lesbian, gays, bisexuals, transgenders, and intersex, have claimed that the Rights and Freedoms Bill has nothing in it for them. Attorney Anandi Trotman-Joseph quotes from release from spokesperson of GrenChap, Richie Maitland.
He says, LGBTI advocates believe that this chapter is backwards, a backwards one for the realization of their rights, and being in strict and closed context of the male and female language binary used in the definition of gender in this bill, the context of the traditional rights provide further for reservations to be made. It does nothing more than recognize the rights of women and men in Grenadian society.
The amendment does not in any way improve the chances of a person who wants to raise a cause of action that they did not have before without the amendment. So it is not right to say that because of the amendment that somebody is better armed to make a challenge along the lines that people are concerned about. And I think that is all we can say on that topic.
The Commonwealth Secretariat has looked at the gender equality part of the bill, and she said so repeatedly, at least 3 times in about 30 minutes, that the Commonwealth Secretariat has looked at that part of the bill and just cannot possibly see in that part of the bill or in any other part of the 7 bill package any accommodation for same-sex marriage, or as the Attorney General just said, any accommodation for anything not now accommodated by the Constitution.
The Bill of Rights is the most loaded of 7, and there is widespread consensus on its far-reaching benefits. However, the section which proponents say are designed to promote equal treatment of male and female is being vastly misunderstood by some. Senator Allie, on a recent edition of Referendum Countdown, quoted exactly what that segment is saying.
Gender equality A. Both men and women shall be entitled to equal rights and status in all spheres of life, especially in economic, educational, political, civic, and social activities, So it's guaranteeing that both men and women must have equal rights as relates to any area in life they choose to be in, whether it's economic, education, or whatever. B, both men and women shall be entitled to equal access to academic, vocational, and professional training, to equal opportunities in employment and promotion, to equal remuneration for work of equal value, and to equal access to justice.
C.R.A.C has been making the bills available everywhere on traditional media as well as social media and has continued its public education campaign. Senator Allie now defines the meaning of gender equality.
Gender is the range of characteristics pertaining to and differentiating between male and female. And B, gender equality reflects the view that men and women should receive equal treatment and should not be discriminated against based on gender.
Bearing all this in mind, the bill does make provisions for some critical issues that can change the lives of many Grenadians. For example, the Rights and Freedoms Bill will ensure the protection of intellectual property right for all creators of works. It ensures the right to proper legal counsel when detained, and of particular interest to child rights activist and attorney at law Anandi Trotman Joseph is provisions for persons with disabilities. The bill will also ensure that the state will be financially responsible for the education of each child with special needs up to the age of 18. Every other child would have the right to public funded education in institutions owned by the state up to 16 years of age.
Give that disabled child who needs that step up, that little extra assistance.
It gives parents the understanding, and it's enshrined in our constitution, that your child, whether it's a normal child or less than able child, can have access to education without you having to worry about pay tuition fees and other school fees for that child.
The bill also gives special rights to the protection of children, something member of the Grenada Coalition on the Rights of the Child, Lorice Pascal, believes is critical considering the state of Grenada's children today.
In 2000 to 2010, now this is reported cases of sexual violence against our children. 2,773 reported cases. You can multiply that by 5 and you might get the real picture of the atrocities that is happening in our family here, which is described right here in this bill. And it says the right to have a family and to engage in family life shall be respected. And when we're talking about respect, it's not that to bring in any other family that we don't know nothing about in Grenada. It is not happening in Grenada. It is for the protection, respect for our children.
But even with all these major benefits the Rights and Freedoms Bill can bring to the Grenadian people, some are still unsure about the real reason behind the gender equality component of the bill. For this reason, the Constitution Reform Advisory Committee has announced an extension in the referendum date from October 27 to November 24th to facilitate more education on the bill.
The government of Grenada has come to the conclusion that there are certain issues which need to be addressed more fully. The Constitutional Revision Advisory Committee has listened also to all the contributions of the stakeholders in this matter, and against this joint background, it has been decided that it would serve or better serve the public good if an extension of approximately 1 month be given for the education process to be completed.
The more we read it to the people and explain it to them, the greater is the comfort zone on the part of the people regarding that part of the bill. And that bill is of vital importance to this country, the Human Rights Bill. It therefore behoves all of us to spend a little more time explaining the bill. That time is more than worth it.
In forging ahead for the new referendum date, the Constitution Reform Advisory Committee will hold a number of consultations and community meetings to shed more light on the true essence of the Rights and Freedoms Bill.
numerous requests from various church groups to come to talk to them. Church groups all over the country. And we applaud that. And we don't want to just cut off requests just like that. So that is the way we intend to deal. Sit down face to face with people, churches, community centers, street corners, wherever, and take people through the bill, through the part especially.
For State of Affairs, I am Abigeil McIntyre.